First, welcome all of our members to the Roundtable's annual meeting, and specifically the Tax Policy Advisory Committee sessions. I'm joined by our chairman, Frank Creamer. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your steady leadership of the Real Estate Roundtable's Tax Policy Advisory Committee. So from the tax reforms of 2017 to the current pandemic economic crisis, I think it's safe to say it's truly been a remarkable few years, and you have really helped steer us through a very difficult environment. This is our first annual meeting held online, so we are all still adjusting, but one thing is certain, tax policy definitely remains very fluid, constantly changing, and I think now more than ever, our collective voice as an industry really matters. So I know I always benefit from your wisdom, your guidance. I believe our committee as a whole would really greatly benefit from your thoughts on the roundtable, tax policy, the current environment. So thanks as always, Frank, for joining us, and thank you for being here.
Well, Ryan, thank you very much, and thanks to all of you who are watching this week's events. I'm privileged to chair the Tax Policy Advisory Committee and to work with Ryan McCormick and Kathy Wyden, our vice chair, and our cadre of very competent tax professionals. We may not be together in person, but the Roundtable is doing more than ever to make sure we're getting our current and useful information on what is happening in Washington out to our members. We have increased the frequency of the committee calls. We are surveying members for feedback, and we are sharing developments as they occur. We are also not letting social distancing fray our ties with policymakers and those setting the policy agenda. That is evident from the agenda for this week's meetings, which include interviews with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, New York Governor Cuomo, Colorado Governor Polis, former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, and numerous others. This week, our tax committee meeting is featuring discussions with Illinois Congressman Brad Schneider, IRS Chief Counsel Michael Desmond, Ways and Means Chief Tax Counsel Andrew Grossman, and others. After a period of calm in tax legislation, the pandemic has led to historic tax and spending measures. 4 major pieces of legislation in just 2 months. More are likely, but eventually the focus will shift from fiscal stimulus to filling the revenue shortfall. Pressure will again rise on our real estate industry, and we need to prepare. We must continue to demonstrate that the connection between the real estate industry and jobs, healthy communities, and Americans' well-being are in place. We will continue to produce objective, fact, and economic-based research on the role and importance of rational cost recovery rules, like-kind exchanges, capital gains, incentives, the deductibility of business interest, and carried interest as an incentive for entrepreneurial risk-taking. The strength of the Roundtable remains its credibility with policymakers. They understand our analysis is grounded in facts, data, and respected research. They know that they can come to the Roundtable and find the country's leading experts in real estate, partnership, and pass-through taxation. They know that our tax policy analysis is informed by leaders in all elements of the real estate business: owners, developers, lenders, managers, and investors. One of the principal topics we will discuss this week relates to the tax consequences of debt restructurings and debt workouts. The tax rules concerning the cancellation of indebtedness when a loan is restructured can be a major impediment to transactions that help get the economy back on track. As a former real estate banker, this is an area where I have some personal experience. Having transitioned from real estate banker to debt restructuring advisor, I learned that a successful restructure typically involves the following: developing a viable business plan for the property, having an experienced operator execute the plan, new money in an amount sufficient to execute the plan, a term long enough to fully execute the plan, and a tiered debt structure that properly balances the risk and return to each tier of the original debt with new money. No group is better situated to tackle these challenges than the Real Estate Roundtable's Tax Policy Advisory Committee. I hope to see all of you soon. Until then, please stay engaged and active with TPAC. Your director involvement is more important than ever.
Well, thank you, and thanks for, as always, helping lead our committee, Mr. Chairman, and look forward to all the events this week. And it's a great way to start off with your comments to help get us going. Thank you.
You're very kind. Thank you for the opportunity, Brian.